Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Salazzle in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is a very interesting spacey Pokemon as it's going to have basically no bulk but a ton of firepower. This Pokemon is going to do a ton of damage, as you're going to see here with the Dragon Pulse coming through, doing a ton of damage against the Swampert. And yeah, this Pokemon is going to be very fun as a safe swap, as we're going to shield up the move here in order to get them a little bit lower so we get into farm down range for our Cresselia for a better matchup later on. But let's take a look at this team here in general. We're going to have Cresselia again, which is a very good pick right now. Like, this Pokemon is able to destroy most of the meta right now, which is really cool. Like a Swampert with Grass Knot here. But also other Pokemon are kinda getting beaten down by that one. An Obstagoon, not really, but let's take a look at this matchup here. I'm going to go straight for the move. I don't bait around. I'm not going to go for the debuff, and I'm going to be able to knock them down here. And they're going to forfeit this first game. Don't know why they didn't shield there, but they took the risk and they lost it. Next game, horrible lead again. We're going to swap out into Salazzle. In comes in Azumarill. What can we do here? Fire against water, but also poison against the fairy typing. And as you're going to see here right now, I'm going to do a ton of damage with our Poison Fang, as you can go ahead and go for another one here after another fast move. That's going to be the best energy efficient way. And like this, we're going to be able to now get the shield from the opponent and even get to another move here, which is going to force either another shield or knock out the opponent. And I'm going to be able to flip switch against an Azumarill, now having the Umbreon against us, and I still get to another charge move, which is going to be pretty important because this is going to put them now into range where even one Focus Blast is going to do enough. And as we got completely hardware usually in this game, thanks to flipping the switch there, we were able to now have the Medicham aligned against our Cresselia. They're just gonna go ahead and go for the Power Punch the entire time, but we can go ahead and just knock them out with that one, and we're going to have a great endgame here right now, because the Umbreon not going to appreciate the Focus Blast too much there, so we're going to have a great time winning this game here at the end. There's nothing they can do there, but they would have been able to hardwall me the entire way through if I didn't flip switch there. Flipping switch is very important with this team. That's something that you're going to see later on as well for sure. Like, flipping switch with Salazzle is pretty easy, I would say. Like in the two-shit scenario with a little bit of energy, Salazzle is just nuking those opponents with a Poison Fang, which got buffed as well this season. So like here, for example, we're going to get in the Sand Slash from the opponent. You're forced to shield once, always have to be shielding once here because they're going to always get to a drill run. But you can just farm them all the way down, have a ton of energy, and knocked out already one Pokemon. In comes now the Medicham. We can go ahead and go for one charge move here, going to be the Poison Fang, and now we can go ahead and go for the Dragon Pulse, which easily would one-shot the opponent here right now, so they're forced to shield this move up. And again, we're going to be able to now align our Cresselia against the opponent's Medicham, allowing us to have our Registeel against whatever they have in the bag, which is going to be a Dugong. We're going to stay in here for a little bit because I know that the opponent is kind of scared of our Cresselia here right now, as the Grass not going to get out the shield, which is exactly what I want to see. As we kind of pretend that we are weak against them in the bag, they're forced to shield the first one because I want to stay in this matchup, and now we have our Registeel on them. If they go for the drill run here, this is going to do a ton of damage then, but it's also going to put us into a range where we can just knock them out with one Focus Blast here for sure. Now we can say goodbye to the Dugong, or never mind, they're actually going to still survive that, which doesn't really matter because they go into a Medicham, which still cannot do anything against me. They can go for the Ice Punch if they want to, but one Zap Cannon going to knock them out, and that's going to be game here. There's nothing they can do. Don't know why they haven't forfeited yet, but there is not a lot that they can do here. We can just farm them down with a Lock On and win this game pretty easily. Next opponent, we're going to see Cresselia against Dragonite. This is going to be a very tough match, but this was one of my favorite matches I played today. Dragonite is also a Pokemon I kind of want to take a look at again as well. This Pokemon right now has definitely a little bit of a buff in the current season, I feel like. There are not a lot of hard answers for this Pokemon available. I feel like a lot of fairy type Pokemon kind of went missing, so that's kind of nice for Dragonite. But here, for example, we're going to be able to go ahead and go for two charge moves against them, allowing us to get both shields from them here as well, getting us into, you know, the Registeel. And we're gonna get hard countered again here with the the Swampert coming in. We can still go for one charge move here, but it's going to do a ton of damage, and we're going to see that it's not going to be enough to knock them out. But what we can do here right now is we can let the move go through. They go for the Earthquake. I'm gonna go into my Cresselia because I kinda want to keep my shield alive, and now we're going to be able to let this move go through. They're out of energy, and now it's showtime. Salazzle is coming in here, going to take a lot of damage just from Mud Shot, which is double super effective. In comes the Dragonite. Poison Fang comes in here as well. Let's see how much damage it's going to do. Half of the health just gone there. In comes Medicham, and this is the best matchup that you can really have here. Medicham in the like 1-0 shield scenario is, interestingly enough, an easy victory for the Salazzle. You can just go ahead and go for the Poison Fang, since the buff right now just does enough damage to knock out the opponent's Medicham. This is so crucial for this matchup, as we're now going to be able to see here the next opponent having the Lantern, having now the Frostlass, allowing us to get a free fast move in here. We're going to shield up the move here, but they shouldn't get to another move in time. We can just farm them all the way down. Having 100 energy right now allows us now to as well kinda maybe dictate this matchup a little bit here. We had some lag there again. There's, by the way, a way to fix, at least for me, the lag. Just turn off the native refresh rate in the settings. It helps out a little bit. I didn't have frame drop since then, but it looks like it's a 30 FPS screen then, which is not really ideal either, but at least it's a little bit better for that one. Here we're sadly going to face our nemesis for this kind of, yeah, I don't know, team here. The Traveler is going to be one of the only Pokemon that's going to be a hard wall for both my lead as well as my closer with the Registeel here right now. So we're going to sadly have to go ahead and try to rely on those debuffs, I feel like, as the Shadow Ball is going to come through here, going to do a ton of damage. I can still get a shield here from the opponent, but it's not really looking too good for us, as they don't even get the debuff here right now. And they're going to swap out into the Lantern. Turns out I should have stayed in for a little bit longer with my Registeel, which would have maybe allowed me to get to another charge move, but like this, there's not a lot that I can do here. I can try to go for a Grass Knot, but they have already one move stored. This incoming Shadow Ball going to knock me out, and it's going to be a good game here. Sadly, not a lot that I can do about this. Next opponent, let's take a look at this one. We're going to get now the Drifblim against us in the lead. Not ideal, but we can swap out here. And I think my opponent maybe played a team that I suggested in my top team video. And if they got to that level already, then that definitely worked out pretty well. So I expect at this point of time that they have Obstagoon in the back. But could of course be wrong, could of course be something like a Medicham as well, which would make some kind of sense. But we're going to be able to now easily realign again here. And realignment is, again, as said before, the most important matchup, or like in general, the most important thing for this team. So the matchup with the Salazzle is the most important in the game. Just use your shields for this one. You have two bulky Pokemon around it. As long as you're going to be able to flip switch, and it's actually the Obstagoon, so most likely a viewer, which is kind of funny. As long as you like flip switch here, you're going to be fine. We're going to go ahead and go to our Cresselia, but this can be a little bit of a risky one as well. As we're going to see here right now, they can go for the Night Slash and they can 3-shot me. And I feel like they just barely got enough energy before they can get to 3 moves before I can get to 2 moves. And we all see here another Night Slash coming through. And if we can get to the next move in time, it's going to be nice. But we're going to see here right now, we'll sadly see P-tie there, and they're going to have now a great time. Because the Obstagoon can run freely here, the Obstagoon going to have a great time against my Registeel as well, because of course the counter is super effective, the Night Slash might be super effective, but they're going to swap out into the Drifblim, allowing us to swap into our Salazzle, catching the Shadow Ball from the opponent here right now. And go for the Focus Blast now against the Ghost, just to knock them out, and just to force a CMP tie. In 5 counters I would be able to CMP tie against the opponent. They go for a charge move here right now. It's only going to be the Night Slash. They are not running cross chop seemingly. And this will allow us to go ahead and go for the Focus Blast and say goodbye to the opponent here. Boom! Winning us this game here. And going to be, in general, a very good one there. Next opponent, Swampert lead. Very decent for us. But honestly, this is like the thing which kind of bothers me a little bit with this team. Like, it's kind of weak-ish against Swampert, though. Still kind of weak-ish, but still, we're going to be able to go ahead and get some damage onto the Sableye and just farm them all the way down. We are not forced to shield anything here. We can let this move go through. And we see now that we're going to be able to still realign, which is going to be nice. But still, it's going to be a little bit tough for our... our Cresselia to flip this matchup because the opponent has so much energy already. So again, this is not really ideal for me. They're gonna go for the Earthquake luckily, which is going to be nice for me, but it's not really looking too good as I can just go ahead and shield up the moves. And you might still lose this game here, but honestly, I had a lot of fun with this team. I actually went also 5-0 and 4-1 with this team, and I think a 2-3 at the end, which is totally fine. Definitely a team that I can highly recommend you. We're going to see here now the Cresselia against us, which is going to be very nice for us, as we're going to be able to now hardwall them with a Registeel. Registeel is one of the hardest answers for the Cresselia, if not the hardest answer. So we're going to be able to just go ahead and go for 2 Zapcans. It should be enough to knock out the opponent as well with that one. As you're going to see here, we even got the attack drop here, which is going to be so nice for us, as we're going to get the move from the opponent onto us. Going to be fine though. If they want to catch a move, that's also okay for us. I'm going to overfarm a little bit, but I can go ahead and go for another charge move, which is going to knock out the opponent, allowing me to swap out here, go for the first grass knot and go for the second grass knot right afterwards to knock out the opponent before they can even throw a charge move against me. Going to be a good game like this, and we're going to be able to move on to the next game. Next game coming up, we're going to see a Noctowl in the lead. Horrible lead for us. We're going to swap out immediately into our Salazzle, and in comes not a better matchup for us. It's going to be the Lantern. What we're going to do here right now is weird. What we're going to do here is we're going to go for the Poison Fang, and we're going to go ahead and go for another Poison Fang. And if they're going to let this move go through, I'm going to try to realign. And let's take a look at this one. We're going to be able to shield up the move from the opponent here. They gave us basically a free fast move, and what this allows us now as well is to shield up another time here, and we're going to get out of this matchup with a ton of energy, as well as going to be able to realign. Yes, we are 2 shields down, but realignment, as said prior already, is the most important asset for this team. You really want to realign your Pokemon. We're going to see here the Salazzle going for a Poison Fang, gonna get the shield from the opponent. And as you can see here, they're gonna be able to go ahead and go for the knockout. Sky Attack is coming through. We can swap into our Registeel, and in comes an Azumarill. This is going to be not great for the opponent here, as we can go ahead and go for the debuffing move here. The Zapkin is going to come through, and we're gonna get the debuff, allowing us to also catch now the Hydro Pump onto the Cresselia, which of course has a worse matchup against the Noctowl, which has of course access to the move Shadow Ball. So this is going to be now game over. The opponent going to forfeit, and I'm going to battle my brother here right now. And it's a family tradition that he hardballs me the entire time, which is literally the thing that happened the last, I think, 5-6 times I battled him in Go Battle League. This is like one of the issues for this team though. I can definitely show it and say it clear and loud here. This team is really bad against Shadow Charizard. This is something that I don't really see nowadays anymore. I actually don't know why. I kind of want to try this Pokemon out again myself as well, because Shadow Charizard seems to be very decent right now. But yeah, this team sucks against Shadow Charizard. There's not a lot that I can really do about this one. I can still go ahead and go for one Grass Knot here and knock them out. But at this point of time, they already did so much damage. They can realign here right now. They only have, basically, if they're double weak to Registeel in the back, I would be fine. Turns out they have their own Registeel and they have their Medicham. So yeah, I can just go ahead and say goodbye to that one. There was nothing I could have done there. Like, there was literally nothing. We're going to see a Dedenne here right now. And we gotta get out the Quagsire. This is how the team works, by the way. This is exactly what you want to do here. You want to try to get out the answer for the Registeel. That's what the Salazzle is really good at. And we're going to be even able to go ahead and shield this move up, go for the Mud Bomb. And you're going to try to get them into a range where I can farm them down with my Cresselia. Again, basically like the matchup against the Swampert early on. You're going to try to farm them all the way down here right now. The moves coming through from the Quagsire here are now going to be a Stone Edge. Not going to do too much damage there. I think Mud Bomb is more energy efficient. But are we going to see another move coming through? It's going to be another Mud Bomb. I'm just going to try to farm them all the way down at this point of time. They still get to another move here, but it's going to be okay. We have a ton of energy. We have to hope that we can still win this game here. Let's see. We can try to go for a charge move here. Moonblast coming through. Moonblast should do some pretty decent damage against the opponent as well. And you can try to swap, but I'm going to swap a little bit too late here, forcing us to use a shield against the opponent's Dedenne. Trying to basically think that the opponent now thinks that we're going to be very weak against it in the back. So we're going to go for another Grass Knot. We're going to get the shield and we can go ahead and go into our Registeel. Let's see what they have in the back. They're going to stay in here, weirdly enough, so they might be weak against us in the back, as they're going to stay in even further. They're going to get the Team Peter here, which is really unfortunate for us. I wanted to go for the move a little bit before, but I think I also had a frame drop there again, but it's fine. Focus Burst coming through, and we're gonna get out the Warrain. This is exactly the Pokemon that we want to see, as the Zapkin is coming through here right now. And the Zapcannon going to seal the deal, as it's going to one-shot the opponent. We can win this game still, which I didn't expect to win, but I take that one. Dragonair. Dragonair is also kind of like the Dragonite in the beginning. Not really an ideal counter for us, but we're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Moonblast first. Unlike the opponent's Dragonite there, we don't have a stab move here on the opponent, so they're going to go ahead and go for the Body Slam, which does a little bit less damage than the Dragon Claw. As well as they're going to be a little bit like a little bit bulkier, so they don't do as much damage against me compared to the Dragonite, allowing me to go for 2 Moonblast without even using a shield. And I will be able to now have 2 shields from the opponent, as well as I can align my Registeel against them. This will allow me now to go for the Focus Burst in order to knock them out. Now we have 2 shields plus a Salazzle. Salazzle at 2 shields can even beat its hardest answers, and we're going to find that out shortly as well. So you're going to get out the Lantern, which is good that we're going to get this Pokemon out here right now, because I kind of want to try to go ahead and knock them out with my Salazzle maybe later. I can let this move go through. It's going to be the Thunderbolt, which is going to be nice. I can swap out here right now. Salazzle is hopefully going to be enough here, like able to knock them out without using both of the shields, but I'm not sure about this one yet. I'm going to try to get another fast move in here, but the game is all lagging a little bit. But Salazzle is coming in clutch here, going to be able to farm them down, but no, it's going to be the Medicham coming in. And as we know already from the matchup prior, Medicham is going to lose this one. Medicham has no chance of winning this game here right now, because 2 Poison Fangs are enough to knock them out, which is wild, just because of the insane damage that the move Incinerate is doing here. We will be able to go ahead and go for the knockout here. In comes again the Lantern. They have some energy, they can knock me out here, but this is not enough to seal the deal here, as we still have our Registeel and we will be able to farm them all the way down here, allowing us to win this game. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. This team is a ton of fun, I can highly recommend it to you. 2 videos on the screen right now as well, check them out if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.